WPBS TV3 Sports welcomes you to Portland High School football. We now send you up to the booth and welcome in Steve Schwartz on play-by-play and John Coyne on color commentary.
It's championship football here at Fitzpatrick Stadium as the Portland Bulldogs take on the Windham Eagles for the Class A North Championship. This is Steve Schwartz along with John Coyne, Dave Elowich on camera, Dave Levine on statistics, and joined by Mike Hoffer tonight. I think we got them all, Mike. So, Mike, what are we in for tonight?
Well, I feel like we've done this before. You got Portland and Windham meeting in a big playoff game, and we did this last year. It was a good night for the Bulldogs. Certainly Portland's got to feel very confident coming into this game. I think football's a sport where it's all about matchups, and for whatever reason, Portland matches up really well with Windham. Windham has Chevers's number, but for whatever reason, Portland has had Windham's number of late, and that's got to give them some confidence going in. But they have to take this Eagles team seriously. A lot of experience here, and they've got some really good players, so Portland's got its work cut out.
Well, in fact, the Portland players are taking Windham seriously tonight, and John and I had a chance to interview several players and Coach Hartman, as well as a superfan.
So we're here pregame today for WPPS. We've got Dylan White, one of the star seniors for the Portland Bulldogs. Dylan, tell us a little bit about what it is to be a lineman both defensively and offensively.
For this team, it's pretty cool because, our line has a great chemistry. We're always hanging out together. We work hard in practice, just be one of the best lines in the state, and I hope that we'll be able to prove that.
So you were here last year at the same time, and you're here this year again. What's the difference between this squad and last year's squad?
I think last year's squad was a little bit different because those guys have been playing together since they were really young, and some of us weren't so intertwined, but we came together as freshmen and just worked together, and now, we're all best friends, and we just love to work hard with each other and push each other to the limits.
So it sounds like you've got chemistry going on here, and want to wish you the best of luck tonight in the Class A North Championship.
Thank you very much.
We're here with senior co-captain Dylan Bolduck. Dylan, what a year you've had. First of all, Northern Maine Class A Player of the Year. Offense, defense, leading in tackles, touchdowns, rushing. Did you expect to have this kind of year this year?
No, I didn't, honestly, but it just reflects on our team as a whole. I can't obviously do it by myself. It reflects really well on our line and how they performed, and on the fullback and all my blocking backs ahead of me, so it's a nice honor.
And, you were kind of thrust into things this year where, your role could have been a little bit more limited, but when number 12 went down, you really stepped in.
Yeah, we knew that someone was going to have to step up, and we knew that all of us were going to have to step up, play a little bit better, just because he's a great player, obviously, and we knew we couldn't just let the season go from that, so someone had to step up.
So just one final question. You really are a superlative on both offense and defense. Do you have a preference?
No, I really don't. I like running the ball, but I also like hitting kids when they get the ball, reading the plays. You have to do it really quick, and it's the whole game's pretty fun.
Okay, well, congratulations tonight. Best wishes to you.
Thank you.
All right. We're here with senior co-captain Jake Nope. Jake, you are really one of the best athletes on the team, a pure athlete. You signed a letter of intent to Manhattan. Let me ask you, first of all, what's your preference? Baseball, football? At this time of season, I assume it's just football.
Yeah, growing up, baseball has always been my passion. But, football, conference championship, it's nice and cold. I'm just ready to play, and football is definitely my top priority right now.
Great. Jake, you were here last year as the rest of your teammates were. What's the difference for you between this year and last year?
Well, last year I had never played in a championship game my whole life growing up. Portland teams have never really been at that top level. This year we got experience. This year we're going to control our emotions and not let the pressure get to us and just try to play as a team.
So it sounds like been there, done that, and you're a lot more confident as a squad this year.
Yep, definitely.
Great. Thank you very much. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, man. So we're here with senior co-captain Nick Archambault. Nick, obviously on crutches, a really tough break this year. You started out lights out, had that really, really tough injury. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I had surgery a couple days ago, so I made it a goal to be here tonight for my teammates, and because as a captain, that's what being a leader is all about, is putting yourself kind of on the back burner and being here for the rest of your team. And I know this is a really important game, and I was going to do whatever it took to just be here, even if it's just to watch.
And you've been really at every game this year. There was a little bit of scuttlebutt about whether or not you'd actually be coming back. We don't know if that was something that was thrown out there for other teams or not, but we wish you a speedy recovery and good luck in your future endeavors as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So we're here with Coach Hartman. Coach, what a tremendous year you've had. Back again in the Northern Maine Final.
Yeah, we've had to overcome a lot of things, especially Archie and a few other things, and the kids just keep up. Had a great season.
You know, actually, I want to talk with you about that. It's documented that you've said that Nick Archambault was really one of the finest athletes who's ever played for you. How did you overcome that this year?
Boulder. Nope. Isaiah Batchelor, Ethan Hoyt, all those kids just picked their game up, and and Bolduc was a blessing in disguise. So we've had some players pick up Foley, a lot of guys.
Sure have. Tremendous year all the way around. Isaiah Batchelor, offense and defense this year. Really doing well.
Yeah, we probably don't use him as much if Archie's still here, but it turned out Isaiah's had a phenomenal season, especially last week when he was 7 for 7, except for that stupid fake so he's had a great season. He's a great kid. But what you guys don't see is we make a bad call, or not a call that the other team is going to snap out real quick. He readjusts the line and readjusts the plays and changes it, which is not something most high school kids can do.
We noticed that a little bit this year, a little bit of audible and that sort of thing. But one of the other things we've noticed this year is you've really mixed it up. I mean, you have teams guessing well passing and
we have bright football players. They're good. Our goal was to change the offense every week. We've done that. I don't know how much it will change tonight, but there's only so much we can do with that. That's a big help. We couldn't do it if they weren't bright.
So Coach, here last year, here again this year, a totally different group. Are these guys as excited as they were last year? They seem to be. We talked a little bit pre-game, and their chemistry has really increased as the season progressed.
It's a different. Every team's different. Remember, a lot of these kids were here last year, and they were some of them in the heart of that team. I mean, Esposito did his thing, but Archie, that was good. Boulder, at strong safety, was a big part of that Batchelor quarterback. Yep. So we got a lot of that heart back. I remember when we lost Zook. You lost a lot of heart. You lost a lot of players. We didn't have that this season. But this year, thank God for because they're back. They have some experience.
It seems you also have a great deal of depth. I mean, there have been several games where you've been able to get in your younger players earlier and maybe play for the whole quarter. This bodes well for the future of the program.
We have a very strong sophomore class and a great, good freshman class. It's solid. And that will get better. But this sophomore class is.
Well, Coach, you've been synonymous with the word success for Portland football. We wish you all the best tonight and as the season progresses.
Thank you guys very much. Thanks for taking care of the kids.
So we're here with Portland High School superfan Jacob Allen. Jacob, Coach Hartman has told us what an inspiration you've been to this team this year. You've been to their practices. You've actually followed their games. How do you think the season's going?
I think the season's going very well. I try to follow it with my iPhone, but the website is not very accessible to my blindness, But I feel like the season's going very well. Once again, my name is Jacob Allen. I've been blind since birth.
I appreciate that, and you're a resident of the Iris Network, which is right next door to us. The team has really received some inspiration from you this year.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be. I always wanted to be, a running back or something like that. I've always watched my dad, and I already listen to football and Brady and stuff. I think Brady's cool, and I just want to be a quarterback. I just want to get a chance to be on an actual team and have some friends,
Well, I understand that. Let me ask you also, you do follow these games, and you are here in the stands many times. How do you follow the game here, sir?
I don't really know, sir.
Well, I guess what I mean by that is, how do you know the plays and things like that? Do you have people that point it out to you?
Yeah, Stevenson helps me, my staff from Goodwill.
Yeah.
Sir.
Very, very nice. Well, is it exciting for you that Portland's in the Class A North final tonight?
Oh my God, yeah!
So Jacob, we're here again for the second time in 2 years. Portland's taking on Windham. Do we have a prediction from you for tonight?
Portland.
Do we have a score?
79-0.
So we've got confidence coming from Jacob Allen tonight.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and that's it for now. So, John, as you can see, the Bulldogs are really psyched up tonight. They're not going to let their emotions run away with this game, and they are here to play.
Right, they're very composed. You can see from our interviews, and what a great group of kids. They talk about their chemistry. They talk about how this time last season that they were newer kids and they were intertwined with some of the older kids. It's their game this year. It's the Class A finals. They need to be there, and they've got themselves going in the right direction.
Folks, Dylan Bolduc, Class A North Player of the Year. Coach Jim Hartman and all the rest will bring you all of the exciting action in a moment.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say dawns that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Wow.
Another great job. So, John, Windham wins the coin toss and elects to defer, and Portland, therefore, will have the ball first, as Jake Nope and
Vinny Pasquale
will be back and set to receive. And Pasquale will pick it up at about the 12. It's at the 30. Breaks one, gets it all the way down to about the 37-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Dogs.
Nice return by Vin Pasquale. He picks the ball up deep there in front of Nope. Got some space to run, puts them in decent field position. Something that they don't really start in front of the 50, behind the 50 too often, but we'll see what we got tonight. It's a windy, cold night. It's the first night that I recall that we've got windows closed, Steve.
That's right. Dave Elowich doing a nice job. We've got Nope in motion, but it's going to be a pitch. It's going to be Batchelder with the ball, and he gains about a couple yards, so it'll be 2nd and 8. And actually, excuse me, but that's about a loss of 2, so it's going to be a 2nd and 12 from about the 35. One thing, John, that that you could see is Isaiah Batchelder really does a great job faking, shucking, jiving, and and he has got great timing. And actually, I had meant to mention that or ask Dylan Wyke about that. They have a tremendous sense of timing.
Yeah, you looked at him and you heard from Coach Hartman early that these young men have got a high sports IQ, which is great to see. Good athletes as well as students of the game.
So it's 3rd and 8, and Batchelder gets tripped up by number 25, who is Nate Watson. It's going to be a 4th down after that 4-yard gain. And Batchelder will punt. And going back deep will be Blake Hauser. Hauser brothers for Windham, well known. High snap, he handles it though. And it's a fair catch, but it's going to take a little bit of a Portland bounce, and it'll be down by Pasquale at about the 27-yard line. And that is where Windham will take over tonight.
So this is interesting. 3-and-out Portland doesn't happen often to them offensively. You've got Windham, who's come off of a really exciting victory against Sheriff's High School last week. We'll see what they bring.
So a little short screen pass to Nathan Henderson.
Well, the wind fares well for Portland today with Desmond Leslie back there. He's a talented passer. He's poised in the pocket. So if the wind continues to pick up as it has, we're in a pretty good spot for Portland to have some kind of effect to their passing game.
So it's 2nd and 10. In the gun is Leslie. He's got a little time. He goes up the middle and just overthrows Griffith Hebert, who it appears had just had his man beat, but the ball beat everybody. So it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 27. A very, very windy, chilly night here on a crisp fall evening in Portland, Maine. Leslie to throw. Gets some great pressure. And, it was going to be anybody's ball at that point. Really great pressure from Koa Farnsworth to really force that.
We've become very accustomed to that. Koa's prowess on the defensive line. There's a lot of air under that ball by Desmond Leslie, and like you said, Steve, the defensive secondary was all around that ball.
So 2 3-and-outs, as it'll now be Windham punting. Blake Hauser to punt. He gets it off, and Pasquale's going to pick it up, and he's going to run it, and he's going to get it to midfield. Cut back left, go around, and folks, Vinny Pasquale is off to the races, and he brings it down all the way to about the 27-yard line, about a 35-yard return, John.
And nice job by Pasquale. You see that him pick that ball up. It's not a thing that generally happens at that point. You'd see them let that down. We've got a flag on the play, and it could be a result of a late hit. Vinny Pasquale was kind of manhandled as he got over to the sidelines, but we'll see what we got here for a call. They're going to confer. Best things are done in conferences so they can talk about what they all saw.
Well, it's true. I mean, we see it. You see it in basketball. I see it in baseball and softball. So we have holding against Portland and offsetting penalties as we have a personal foul against Windham. So I'm going to have to understand why the ball gets brought back.
This one will I don't know. We'll listen for all the pundits out there to figure this one out. The holding probably happened prior to the snap, prior to the kick being executed. And then the unsportsmanlike penalty. So it looks like they're marking it off one way, and then they're going to turn around and mark it off the other way. I'm watching. I see Hank Richards explaining it on the sidelines to the Portland coaching staff as to what was going to happen there.
So the net result is probably about a 5-yard difference for the Dogs as the ball's on the 36-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 Bulldogs after that is all sorted out. Isaiah Batchelder is under center, and he's going to keep it. And he's going to be brought down by Blake Hauser and Trevor Valier.
So we talked about that earlier in pregame with Coach Hartman about how Isaiah makes great reads at the line and can adjust pretty quickly and efficiently, and you see that there as he takes the ball, probably going through the guard tackle gap and then hits the tackle tight end gap after that.
So a 1-yard pickup, 2nd and 9. Bullduck through. He runs into his own man. And forward progress probably gets him down to about the 31-yard line. We have a couple of officials right around the 31, and it's going to be a fumble. So, an uncharacteristic turnover for the Bulldogs, John, as Windham will take over 1st and 10 from their own 35. And, excuse me, it's on the 31, the ball. 8:13 left in the first quarter. 0-0 is the score. Windham now with the ball, 1st and 10. Desmond Leslie is back in the gun. And actually, nothing doing as Batchelder and Levine combined to restrict Hauser. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
So we've got just under 8 minutes left. We've seen a lot of action here. We've seen fumbles, a couple of penalties, and it looks like it's going to be a smash mouth game here between the Eagles and the Dogs for the remainder of this game.
All right. So there we have a little drag route there by Blake Hauser, and he picks up about 2 yards. As it'll be 3rd and 8. From the 33. So Portland's defense holding here.
3rd down and 8.
And not going to get the first down.
3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's what we're seeing on both sides of the ball. No real big gains. The only one we saw break anything was Vin Pasquale at this point on that punt return.
That was Dante Hamilton in on that tackle first. And it'll be 4th and 8 from the 37. Howard will punt. Well, we have a flag. And a conference. Offsides, Portland.
Deering, it'll be a Windham first down.
Indication is a 5-yard penalty against Portland offside. Move the ball to the 41.
And the ball's going to be in the 41-yard line where it's going to be 1st and 10. Again, a little bit uncharacteristic here for the Bulldogs. It's, some opening quarter jitters maybe. But this is a team that's many of the players actually have been here before. And a great storied tradition here. It'll be 1st and 10 with 6:15 left in the first quarter. From the 41 in the gun. Takes it himself. And he gets 4 yards. And the official word is 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. From the 45. Leslie in the gun, as he's been all night. And he's back to throw. Well, we got a Windham player that went down. We're going to have a pass interference call as Griffith Hebert went down as the players collided. And it's not going to be a surprise to anybody because everybody is marching down.
There's contact between both the players there. Nope wrapped up with the receiver. It looks different from here compared to other places.
So 1st and 10 from the 40. And again, Portland, just getting out there, opening jitters. As Windham methodically marches down the field with 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Leslie got a wide open receiver. A nice grab by Hebert, who he went to again after the pass interference call immediately preceding.
So Vin Pasquale in decent position to stop the receiver once it's caught. Got a hand in there, but hats off to the Hebert for his reception. That was a decent reception, and Desmond Leslie didn't have a great throw there. He had a little bit of a jump throw to try to get it over the line.
21-yard pickup. 1st and 10 from the 18. Windham on the march. Leslie keeps it and is tripped up there by Dylan Bolduck, the leader in tackles this year in Class A North.
Dylan's had a great season this year.
So it'll be 2nd and 7 after that 3-yard gain. The ball is on the 15-yard line. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first quarter. And we're going to have a Windham timeout. So Coach Perkins is going to talk it over with his team, and Coach Hartman and Coach Rutherford on defense here. We'll have a conversation with the Dogs. 4:34 left in the first quarter. The score is 0-0 in the Class A North final. So, 2nd and 7 from the 15. Desmond Leslie in the gun. He's got Hauser in motion. 2 wideouts on the right. He takes it to the left. Cuts in. And there's 2 flags on the play. As Ben Levine and Zach Elowich combine on that tackle.
So we'll wait and we'll see what the officials have for their story.
Holding against Windham. So the ball will be walked back now. Where it'll be 2nd and 17, I believe, from the 25.
Well, if anything can be positive, that's one positive thing here for Portland. Back them up a little bit. Brings them to about the 25-yard line.
One thing is clear, Windham has come in here to play tonight.
Absolutely. Like I said last week, they were one field goal away, one block away from giving up a field goal to Chevrolet.
Yeah, that is a beautiful pass, but Stasium is fighting for it with Hauser. And we're going to see how it gets...
I think tie goes to the runner here.
Yeah, I guess they're going to call it a completed pass.
Now, the good part about that is it brings them back to near the original line of scrimmage. So we're going to have a 2nd or 3rd down and 10 to go. The defensive secondary's got to get a little active back here. You got Stasium and Vin Pasquale back there, along with Dylan Bolduc and Jake Nope. They've got to play some active roles. They've got to be aggressive. And those front four have got to get in, make some penetration.
Windham outsizes Portland, as most teams have this year, frankly. Hasn't stopped Portland from having a great year, and here we go in the end zone, and getting a hand on it all the way out on the right side is Jake Nope.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Steve. That's exactly what they need to do. You had some decent pressure there on Desmond Leslie in the offensive backfield. Looks like he's stepping off, so they may be setting up for a field goal.
Not familiar with Windham's kicker. But they are going to set up for what's going to be about a 35-yard field goal. And the kicker will be Claudio Medina. The kick is up, and it's got plenty of distance, and it's no good, though.
Well, there you go. Portland survives a decent drive, a lot of completions, a lot of action in the air, and they survive a 35-yard field goal attempt. They've got to feel good about that coming out of that series with no damage done on the scoreboard, and they've got to understand they've got to be very active and very aggressive here with Desmond Leslie able to throw the ball. Where the wind looks like it's kind of slowed down a little bit. That coming from a guy with no hair. I'm not seeing much hair moving out in the stands.
And closed windows, so we're not really sure. But it's a 1st and 10 from the 20. 3:47 left in the first quarter. Batchelder a little delay, and just wrapped up by Blake Hauser is Dylan Bolduc. You know, the one thing, that this is reminiscent of, you might recall Thornton Academy had solved Joe Esposito in the state final last year. Dylan, you can tell that the team is keying on Dylan Bolduc. They've been able to hold him tonight to just a few, maybe 8 yards altogether. So, but it's early, 2nd and 10 from the 20, as there was no gain there. And here we go. Oh, there's a fumble, and Windham has it.
Wow.
Yeah, Windham falls on that. The recovery is made by Nate Watson.
Well, here we go.
Actually, it may have been Justin Lebrecht, who recovered that, according to Peter Gribben. So now another turn of events, and it's 1st and 10 from the 18, and Portland is right back where they started from before that. That is very uncharacteristic. Interception, or fumbles, very uncharacteristic of the Bulldogs, and even penalties generally, aside from maybe 1 or 2 games this year, very few penalties. Yeah, and then
Koa Farnsworth meets him head to head. Koa Farnsworth says, "Not today, Mr. Leslie, or not on this play at least."
And there'll be about a 2-yard loss on the play, but he was driven back about 8 yards.
Yeah. Koa announced himself, says that he's here to play.
So it will be 2nd and 12 now with 2.5 minutes left on the 20. Leslie back to throw. He's got plenty of time. Intercepted! Vinny Pasquale! He's at the 20, the 25, the 30. Brought out of bounds at about the 35. There's going to be a personal foul as there's a late hit at the end. Tack on about 15 yards to that.
Well, we gotta watch this one because there was a little bit of involvement on both sides once it got out of play there. So there were multiple flags that came out.
There was a 25-yard return, and add 15 onto that.
Yeah, Pasquale got brought out on the sidelines again and got taken out late. Once the feet hit the white, they're out of bounds, and the Windham players have got to realize that. That's the second time they've been bit by that. So here you go, Portland. This is your introduction to the other side of the field. Let's see what we can do with it.
What a tough, talented young man, number 7, Vinny Pasquale, a junior. As Coach Hartman said, they have depth. They're going to be good, hopefully, for years to come. Pasquale will be one of those returning players. 1st and 10 from the 45. And Bolduc takes the pitch and may get maybe a half a yard at best, give or take. And it looks like it's going to be no gain, so it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 45. Teron Moss checks in. Has a minute and a half left in the first quarter. No score here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. Nope in motion. The pitch will come to Dylan Bolduc. This time he tries to find a hole. I mean, Windham is doing such a great job of closing things up. He does gain 8 yards. You know, that was an 8-yard game. I've just come to expect, I think, so much more, John.
Yeah.
So that was great, though. 3rd and 10 for the Dogs, anyway, and we're into the last minute of the first quarter here. 3rd and 2 from the 37. Yeah, and it looks like Hoyt got the call. And they don't get the first down, but the ball is sufficiently far enough down the field that it is likely 4th down, go for it territory here for the Dogs. They've been doing it all year, taking advantage of those 4 downs. They haven't really run into a team like Windham, however. We're going to be ready to wrap up the first quarter here. I don't think they're going to get a playoff. Certainly not. Coach Hartman knows that because he's on the field right now having a chat with the referee. Now, they're stopping time at 1.6 seconds before the end of the first quarter, and we have a Portland timeout.
So this will be, there's no indication of a timeout, only that the officials stopped the clock.
Well, it looked like they did use the signal, and it is a Portland timeout with 1.5 seconds left in the first quarter. So, John, evidently the Dogs want to go with the win and get a playoff here. But they pitch it to Dylan Bolduc, and it's going to be very, very close.
We'll see where it comes up. We're going to get a spot here and have the official indication. And it's a first down by the official. Good job, Bulldogs. Way to start the second quarter.
Yep, and we'll be back with second quarter action. The score is 0-0 here in this Class A North Championship. Portland Bulldogs, 1st and 10 to start the second quarter from the 34-yard line. And Jake Nope will get the handoff, and he'll gain a few. You know, again, the Windham defense has solved Portland here in the early going, John.
Yeah, well, Portland's, made a pretty good thing of it this season, running just off tackle throughout the beginning quarter of the games. So what you've got here is a team that's been able to watch a ton of film off of Huddle and see what they do. Wyndham's a good team. When we were up there in week 2 or 3, that was a great game through the third quarter, and then Portland let it get out of hand for a bit, and we walked out of there with a decent victory, but his Batchelor. Yeah,
Batchelor's back to throw for the first time tonight. He's got his, in the tight end position, Ethan Hoyt, or his fullback, and he gets a first down, or he gets 10 yards. So that'll be 1st and 10. Nice job. Something a little different, running it out right in the slot there.
Well, and this is something that we've seen too for for Portland, they've gone and they've ground and pound for the first quarter, and then there's some kind of trigger, some kind of mechanism that the coaching staff opens him up and lets him throw in the second quarter.
So Bolduc will follow his blocker, but he's going to be wrapped up and still gain a few yards even after Nazan Henderson has wrapped him up. So 3-yard gain for Dylan. As we have said, the Class A North Player of the Year, and doesn't he deserve it?
He does. He's had a great season. We talked to him in pregame, and he was thrust into a position, and he admits he gets through these games because of his teammates and the teamwork and the chemistry that they have. A very noble young man to put his teammates ahead of him.
And he gets the pitch there from Isaiah Batchelder, and he'll gain about 6 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 1. From the 14. $9:40 here left in the second quarter, the first half. We've just started here, and once again, the pitch will go to Bolduc. And he got some daylight, and he's going to scoot in for a touchdown, a 14-yard touchdown for Dylan Bolduc. The Bulldogs strike first.
See the difference here, Steve, in this run and this drive, what we've seen here by Dylan Bolduc at 9:28 remaining in the first half, is that Bolduc's hit full stride when he received the ball. It wasn't a close handoff from Batchelor going tackle to tackle. He was able to get a full head of steam and get moving, and he's rewarding his teammates with a 6-0 lead right now.
Quinn Clark out for the extra point. He's been money all year. I think he's missed 2 out of so many. He's moved up on the chart. That's a block. And so that'll be no good. Again, uncharacteristic, but great defensive play by Windham. Quinn Clark is second on the all-time Bulldogs list with 9 PATs in one game. He overtook John Williams and another couple of players who did it last year, and I think that's a record that's gone all the way from 1908.
The score at this point with 9:28 remaining as Portland goes back to kickoff is 6-0, and we'll return for the kickoff, Steve.
Right. Here we go, folks. The Dogs strike first, John. And Clark will kick off now as they enjoy a 6-0 lead. And every point you can tell is, at least in the early going, is going to be hard fought. We've had 3 turnovers in the early going, 2 by Portland. And there's a nice solid boot. And it's going to roll out of bounds, though, so the flag will come out. And we'll be back. So 1st and 10 from the 35. That's where the ball will come out after the out-of-bounds kick. And a nice tackle by Pasquale on the far side of the field after what looks to be a 6-yard gain.
So the Dogs here, Steve, we've got just about 9 minutes remaining in the first half. They're in a good spot now. They're on the other side of the 50-yard line. Defensively, they've got to grab one here. They need a stop and then a sustained drive.
Yeah, and straight up the middle, I think that's going to be Kyle Hauser. And he's going to be brought down by Dylan Bolduc and company.
The Hauser and Hauser brothers get a lot of mention during the Windham game, along with their quarterback. They've developed over the last couple of years. We've seen Desmond Leslie definitely grow as a quarterback, and the Hauser boys, a senior and a sophomore, are having a great season.
3rd and 3 from the 42. Leslie in the gun, and he's looking to throw, and he's got an open man. And, folks, this man has daylight as Hebert goes down and finally is brought out of bounds by Batchelder way downfield. About a 40-yard pickup there.
You know, we're just talking about Desmond Leslie maturing as a quarterback. Hits an open target. Nice throw by Leslie, and an excellent job by the receiver. He dodges Stasium, and Stasium had a hand on him, and he was chased down by Isaiah Batchelor. We talked early in the pregame with Coach Hartman. Says that Batchelor was thrust into a lot more action than he would have been this year with the injury of Nick Archambault.
It's a keeper for Leslie, and he is going to get very, very close to the first down. Looks like he's got a 9-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd and 1 from the 11. This time he's got Hauser. Hauser's brought down by Zach Elowich and Ben Levine. At least the second time that we've seen that they have combined on a tackle.
And that's another point with our conversation with Coach Hartman. He talked about that strong sophomore class. A little bit of a gap in that junior class, so they've got some talented athletes coming back. But he talked about the sophomore class and the freshman class that are there being another strong group, and we've seen through this season how those sophomores have really come into play.
1st and goal from the 7 after that 3-yard pickup, and we're going to have a motion call against Windham.
That's the second time they've been bitten deep. Deep in their own zone.
That's a 5-yard penalty, so the ball will now be on the 12. 1st and goal from the 12. Leslie keeps it again. And he goes quite a ways before Batchelder and Elowich combine on that tackle. That's a 7-yard gain. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 5. With 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first half, and Windham on the doorstep of the goal line. The pitch will go out to, I believe, the other Hauser brother, and he's brought out of bounds by Bolduck and Pasquale, as Kyle Hauser had that carry. Again, Windham very methodical. 2-yard gain.
So they're beating at the door. Will the Dogs bend and don't break as they have done historically? Or will we have an even game here after this play?
Well, good point. It's a 3rd and goal from the 2. And Hauser again gets the carry. This time he's going to go in for the touchdown. So with 5 minutes 47 seconds left in the first half, the Windham Eagles will tie the score, and we'll see if they're going to get the extra point in a moment. So once again, out to kick, he'll be Medina. And that is good. So the Windham Eagles will take a 1-point lead as they lead 7-6 over the Portland Bulldogs. This is Class A North Championship Football on WPPS TV3. So here we go. It's an onside kick, an interesting call by Windham, but it looks like the good hands of, might have been Elowich that recovered that. So actually, that's very telling. You know, he does have good hands. He's also caught the ball this year and run with it. And good thing he was there.
Yeah, you know, that's one of those things that when you get to this point of the year, you've tried everything, everybody's seen everything that you got, and maybe something like that jump starts you with just under 6 minutes left, but we're fortunate that Elowich was up on that front line.
Yeah, so he had an open motion, and Batchelder keeping the ball. He's going to get about 2 yards. The, the fans are, obviously a little frustrated, but we can't really hear them because we're in a hermetically sealed booth.
Well, we'd have the windows open except for the ceiling tiles blew out, and that was a little scary, a little Wizard of Oz-ish.
2nd and 8 from the 49. And Nope with the ball. He finds a hole, puts his head down, but he's taken down by Griffith Hebert and Kyle Hauser after a gain of about 3 yards. They'll give him 4, so it'll be 3rd and 4 from the 47, about the 47-yard line. 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. The score is 7-6. A big down here for the Dogs. And Bolduc is wrapped up. Again, Windham really has his number tonight. First in on that was Garrett Peoples. Gets 3 yards. It's going to be 4th and 1. And the Dogs are going to punt, or in the punt formation. And they're going to take a timeout. Think about it. So with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first half, the score, Windham Eagles 7, Portland Bulldogs 6. We'll be back. So here we go, 4th and 1, and the Dogs are going to go for it. Going to do a hard count here. Oh, folks, it doesn't look like they made it. And as a result, it's going to be Windham ball. They're going to take over on downs.
You can see right there, Dylan Bolduc pulling out Desmond Leslie from the pile. A good slap on the back, good job. They understand what's going on. They're both sportsmen. We have 4 minutes left into the end of this half, Steve. Portland's really got to dig deep here. The Dogs have got to take possession of this drive and really keep Windham quiet. They've got to watch the long runs. The defensive secondary's got to be wide awake. We know that Leslie's going to throw.
Indeed he is. 1st and 10 on the 44, but he's not. He's going to keep it, and he's going to go straight through the middle. He's going to gain 10 yards before he's brought down by Dylan Bolduc, I guess about 9.
Well, we do have a flag on the play. It was at the feet of Nick Giaquinto a moment ago, and we'll get the call.
Holding Windham.
Well, that happens when you open up a big hole like that. May or may not have a little bit of assistance getting through there. But you've got to watch, and we've seen Leslie. We've seen him over the last 3 seasons, Steve, doing these broadcasts. When he lines up with that empty backfield, it's not definitive of a pass. He runs off that left tackle guard gap rather regularly, and it's almost as though he's in motion as the ball snaps. So it takes Portland a little bit of time to get moving also.
So Leslie with the ball again, does not get back to the original line of scrimmage as Ben Levine takes him down. He gained about 3 of it back though, so it'll be 2nd and about 16 now. 2nd and 14 from the 40-yard line. Two wideouts on the left, one on the right. And he's going to go to the left and get really about 4 yards, just a line past the original line of scrimmage here as Nazan Henderson picked that up. And now it's going to be 3rd and about 8 yards. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. The score is Windham 7, Portland 6. This is the Class A North Championship. This is Steve Schwartz and John Coyne for WPPS TV3 Sports, bringing you the action as we've done all year. Leslie in the gun. A big play for Windham here. And big enough so that they're going to call a timeout and talk it over. So with 2:09 left in the first half, the score is Eagles 7, Dogs 6. So 3rd and 8 from the 46. Leslie in the gun, and he's got a reverse over to handing it around to Blake Hauser. And he gets 2 yards. So a punting situation as they'll bring out Blake Hauser. He gets it off. And here's Pasquale on the right side. He's brought out by around the 30, where the Dogs will take over. 1st and 10 with 1:31 left in the first half. So John, 1st and 10 from the 31 with 1.5 left in the first half. And Batchelder right there, possibly audible. And he's brought back. Oh, he's still on his feet, but he's going to be brought down for a loss. Probably about a 3-yard loss or so.
So it's been a quiet game for this offense. You know, we're about 55 yards behind Windham's offensive output. We've got just under a minute, and the clock is running.
So 2nd and 12 from the 29. Bolduc with the ball. He finds a little bit of room, but he'll gain back what they lost and a few more. A couple more. About a 4-yard gain for Dylan Bolduc.
So the time just ticking away. Where Griffin Foley's in the game as well. Griffin's been held without any receptions. Today he's going to split out to the left here as we're going right to left on the field. We'll see what we've got here.
Nope gets the ball, and he's going to keep running, but the time is going to expire as he's tackled by number 7. Well, I guess by Hauser and company. So that'll be the end of the first half. The score, the Windham Eagles 7, the Portland Bulldogs 6. They'll both have something to talk about in their respective locker rooms. So we're here with our halftime roundtable, and we're going to start off to my far right with Johnny Mailer from Channel 6. Johnny, are you surprised about tonight's game?
I am. I know these are two big high-scoring teams, but you can't spell Windham without wind, as everyone knows, and that's one of the things out there that's really taking those big play factors away from both teams, and the defenses are stepping up and taking advantage of that. Saw an interception by Portland that ended up turning into points for them.
And John, the Dogs are behind Windham in total yards by about 118 to 79. Doesn't tell the whole story, but they've really been able to contain Dylan Bolduc tonight.
Absolutely. He and Isaiah Batchelor have really been keyed on. Dylan's success has been when he's been able to hit the ball full stride. The close handoffs have given them trouble.
Mike Hoffer from The Forecaster, what do the Dogs have to do to get back into this game?
I think they've got to get the ball in space to Jake Nope, and if they can do some pitch outs to Dylan Bullock, that would be helpful too. And they've got to establish Griffin Foley as some kind of a threat. Even if they're not able to get the ball down the field to him, they at least have to make Windham respect that part of their offense. They threw the one pass to Ethan Hoyt, which actually set up the first touchdown. So Portland, as much as Coach Hartman probably doesn't want to do it, I think he's got to take the reins off a little bit and maybe open up the offense a little bit. If you're Windham, you got to be thrilled. You know, Portland ran the ball up and down the field at will against them in the first game, and they're really setting the tone at the line of scrimmage tonight. Of course, on the flip side, if you're Windham, you probably feel like you should have more points recovering 2 touchdowns. So this could go either way. It's a 1-point game at halftime, and I think it's going to come right down to the wire.
Well, folks, the name of the game right now is defense, and Windham right now has the upper hand in that. But we'll bring you all of the exciting action in a moment. Here we are, John. Second half action here in Fitzpatrick Stadium. Windham to receive. And Hauser will pick it up. He has a little trouble with it and brings it up to about the 30, where he's brought out by by Teron Moss
and Nico Levitt. So nice return there, about a 13-yard return to the 30-yard line for Windham. So, you know, we talked about it a little bit at halftime, Steve. It appears as though Portland's going to have to continue defensively to hold it down, but offensively, you know, we've talked about they've got to open it up. They've got to let it go a little bit here. Wyndham's got the wind at their back, so Portland will have the wind at their back in the fourth quarter, but it'd be nice to pick up a score here.
You know, I neglected to mention earlier in the game the national anthem was sung tonight by Devin Cohen. He has an operatic voice. Beautiful job, and he was filmed doing it. So here we go. 1st and 10, and really just refusing to go down, although ultimately Zach Elowich gets the tackle.
You run that tape back, you run that back while you're watching it at home next week, or on Monday here. Watch Isaiah Batchelor hit there. That was a pretty decent hit, but a dangerous hit. He was in head first, and his head went down at a pretty good pace as Leslie rolled off of him. It's kind of a little bit of a scary look there.
2nd and 6 from the 34. Leslie straight up the middle. And he'll gain a couple. And Ethan Hoyt was in on that tackle.
So Hoyt slides down. He was a standing defensive lineman on the left-hand side of that defensive line. We may have a flag. There's another conference there.
We have a false start by Windham. So it'll be brought back, and it'll be probably 11 yards to go here as 5-yard penalty.
It's 2nd and 11.
Windham Eagles have a 1-point lead over the Bulldogs here. Just started the second half. This time the pitch is out to Hauser. He's got Hamilton on him, but ultimately turns it and gets a little bit more before he's driven out of bounds.
He makes that turn there, and that's pretty good. Dante Hamilton ran him out to the sideline, but he was able to make that turn out on the far left-hand side of that line.
But a 6-yard gain. As it'll be 3rd and 5 from the 35. He's got Hauser. Hauser bowls down and ultimately is hit once by Ben Levine and taken down by Batchelder.
Got about a 6-yard gain on that to put him on the 41-yard line.
And that will be a 1st and 10.
So he gets a nice run there. We've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds, or a minute and 20 seconds, I'm sorry, off the clock already. So I think we're doing it right here, Steve. Next door to us, MBR's broadcast, and they've got both windows open, and those folks are a little uncomfortable now.
They're cold. So watch out, folks, as Dante Hamilton and Zach Elowich are in on that tackle.
So Hamilton had 2 shots at it. He penetrated really deeply into that backfield. Had a shot coming at the run of the quarterback the first time, and then retreats and ends up making the tackle on the play. So it was a 9-yard gain, but Dante Hamilton.
So we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but Windham had another first down.
We've got a great crew out in the truck that helped us with that technical difficulty, so hopefully we won't experience any more during this broadcast.
That was a personal foul against the Dogs. So now Leslie back to throw. And Stasium, out there to meet him, but there is a completion.
So I don't know if you picked that up, Steve. That really looked like a curveball as it came out of Desmond Leslie's hand. It came from left to right, dropping back in there to his receiver. And you talk about it. Stasium's out there in a decent position, not that big of a gain, stands him up to hold what, they've had pretty good gains with that pass out to the flat.
We've got a beautiful crowd here tonight. It's a big crowd. You have to figure that it's probably just a little bit smaller than it would have been without the chilly weather here. But it's 2nd and 9 on the 34-yard line. Hauser is up the middle, but there's a flag, and it looks like it's going to be motion against the Eagles. So they have a 7-6 lead. They have a 1-point lead, the difference being a blocked extra point.
And I've got a feeling that's something that they wish they had back, but I've also got another feeling that they're going to be on the doorstep again. So with 8:21 left here, they've marked that penalty back. We've got 2nd and 14 for the Dogs. 2nd and 14 for the Eagles, excuse me.
And back to throw is, oh my goodness, folks. Really a great defensive play there by Pasquale as he was step-by-step with Hebert.
Yeah, and Ethan Hoyt had a decent penetration coming off the left end, and he was face-to-face with Hauser as he let that one go. So on both really occasions here, Portland's in the right place at the right time. So we bring us up to a 3rd and 14, Steve. Definitely a passing down. Got to be careful with Hauser as he takes off on that left-hand side of his line. He's had some pretty sizable gains today already. We'll look at what he comes out with in the backfield, and he's got nobody back there with him.
So the ball's on the 39. And again, plenty of time. He's got an open man and a touchdown. What a beautiful play right there as Hebert catches the 39-yard touchdown pass. And he will give the Eagles a 13-6 lead with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, John.
So it looked like we had a little bit of confusion there in the defensive backfield. He was wide open in the middle of the field, so that somebody's assignments got crossed up back there. Not sure who or what, but he was wide open in that defensive secondary.
Here comes Medina now to try to make it an 8-point lead.
Some healthy conversation going between the Windham sideline and our officiating crew here today.
And it's through. So with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, the score is the Windham Eagles 14, Portland Bulldogs 6. So here's Medina now to kick off. As the Eagles have opened it up here a bit, but there's plenty of time. So 20 minutes of football left to play here.
So one possession game.
So Bolduc will fall on it at about the 29-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Dogs.
They're not giving them any chance to put a return out there. They start them on the 30-yard line, give them the long field. They haven't had a long field all season long. They're generally starting around the 50, as far back as the 40. So they're extending their field considerably with the pooch kick and the onsides attempt, or the drill right at that front line the last time that they kicked off. So great strategy by the Windham coaching staff to not give the ball to Bolduc and not get the ball to Vin Pasquale.
Well, they've scouted this game well, and this team well, I should say. And it's 1st and 10. Batchelder's back to throw, and he finds Griffin Foley for a nice 7-yard gain or so. And that, as Mike Hoffer said, is what the Dogs may need to do, John.
Michael hit it right on the head, open it up. We talked about it moving into this second half, is to open up that offense, get Griffin Foley out there. Ethan Hoyt's reception in the first quarter set up that touchdown by Dylan Bolduc, that 14-yard run. And they've got to get everybody away from that line and spread it out for themselves. It'll open up the run.
Yeah, that's a little too far into the sideline, but worked once, so they tried it again.
Right. So you got 7:15 left in the third quarter. Bulldogs ball. We talked about it at halftime. Open it up. See if you can get some movement there. We've got 3rd and 3. It's indicative of a run play. Potentially, we'll see what Coach Hartman brings in. We've got
certainly Batchelder, no stranger to passing. He's 3rd in Class A North this year, and he's got a screen pass to the right side. He's got Jake Nope. Nope shucks and jives, and he gets the first down.
Well, that's good to see. It's indicative of loosening the reins up on the Dogs' offense.
But a 4-yard gain. 1st and 10 from the 42. You know, if the Dogs score this early, do you go for 2? Dylan Bolduc straight up the middle, and he bulls ahead, stretches out. He gets about 8 yards.
That is exactly what they need to be doing right here. They need to go between the throw, move it around a little bit. When you've got a throw on the first down, that kind of sets the tone for Windham. It's generally a running down, but the Dogs are on this side of the 50. They're on the right side of the yard now.
So Hoyt is the lead blocker for Bolduc, and
we're hearing the ball's on the ground, and they're calling that it was down.
That was would have been it was Griffith Hebert with the tackle. It was going to be Portland ball, and Windham coaches not happy, and the officials will conference, but it is going to be Dogs ball. 1st and 10.
Well, there's something with the ball. The officials have brought it out of play, so we've got a little bit on the sidelines here. They're looking in the ball bag to see what one they bring into the game.
It's not deflated or anything, is it?
I think Isaiah wants to take a look at it, make sure it's one of the balls that he's prepped during the season for games. Be interesting to see what's gone on with it, and maybe it's biohazard or something
Well, no.
on the field, you know. I mean,
could be.
if somebody's opened out there.
1st and 10 from the 47. Batchelder back to throw, and he is sacked, folks. And tackle will go to Kyle Hauser, who's done it from both ends of the field tonight, offense and defense.
So it's a pretty good loss there for them. It's a 6-yard loss. Batchelor did a good job coming back and keeping the ball hidden. First couple of Windham defenders took and bit on the fake with the running back coming into the line. Batchelor didn't survive the 3rd and 4th defender, though, coming in.
So 2nd and 16 from the 47. It was a 6-yard loss. Handoff is to Dylan Bolduck, but not getting much.
No, he's probably got 2 or 3 out of that one. Not a big gain. We're on the wrong side of the yard again.
3rd and 14. Ball on the 47. Batchelor back to throw, and he's being chased. He's got pressure. And
Ethan
he
Hoyt
finds Ethan Hoyt. So Ethan Hoyt having a game of it here tonight. His 2nd reception.
You see the poise right there. Batchelor was able to come around. That's an awkward way to throw as he rolls out to his left, the right-handed quarterback, and he straightened his body out in order to give him the best throwing capacity. Ethan Hoyt's right there, makes a nice grab. That might be just what the doctor ordered for these dogs.
So it will be 1st and 10 from the 36. 4 minutes and 7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Dogs are on the march. And Bolduck gets the handoff.
We're seeing a little bit more success for Dylan Bolduck opening this up with Ethan Hoyt and Griffin Foley being brought into the passing game in a little bit of not a trick play, but a nice fake in the backfield for a pitch, and then turns back and hands it off to Dylan. But, you know, we've got a 2-yard gain there. So not much, but got to get Dylan a full head of steam.
2nd and 8 from the 34. Bolduck in motion, and it's Hoyt with the handoff. There's going to be a flag on the play. So Windham, there can be a penalty against Windham, face mask. It's a 5-yard face mask penalty.
So the penalty indicative of something not the more serious foul of the 15-yard penalty, that someone got their hand up in the mask and they released it, but it's still there. Coach Hartman's going to call a timeout. There'll be a bit confusion with his personnel on the field.
So with 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, the score: Windham Eagles 14, Portland Bulldogs 6. So it'll be 2nd and 2 from the 28-yard line. With Nope in motion, and Batchelder just keeps it, and the big play there is Braxton Cassidy, a sophomore for Windham.
Knock him back. We've got a little bit of a loss there, Steve, but we're still well within Portland's wheelhouse here, inside the 30-yard line.
3rd and 3. Ball's in the 29. From the left hash here, we've got Griffin Foley wide out on the right, Jake Nope on the left. And he dumps it off to Dante Hamilton, who's going to get the first down and more and bring it down to the 15-yard line.
This is exactly what we talked about. They open up. You've got Dante Hamilton out there who's played a pretty strong part in the second half of the season. That nice pass. The setup looked like Dylan Bolduc inside run, but Isaiah Batchelor drops back in the pocket and hits Hamilton
with a 14-yard reception. So it'll be 1st and 10 on the 15. Under 2 minutes in the third quarter. Bolduc, he refuses to go down. He's grinding out 2 and 3 yard gains here.
And Justin LeBrecq had a pretty good hold of him. He's a pretty big dude, but man, nothing going on there. Dylan's.
Yeah, we've got an issue here with Ethan Hoyt holding his leg, but it looks like it was more, looks like he's cramped up as he's scooching in the huddle, but he's walking gingerly as well. So 2nd and 8 from the 13. Batchelder back to throw. And he finds Griffin Foley for the 13-yard touchdown.
He got tattooed on that play, too. Defensive lineman really let him know what was going on, but it's great for him to stay in the pocket. He's got the poise to be able to do that.
And it looks like let's see what's going to happen here.
They're going to bring Isaiah Batchelor out. They're going to go for 2.
And that is something that we speculated earlier may happen. There's little to lose. Ball's on the 3. Nope in motion. Batchelder has it. He's got 3 blockers ahead of him, and he's going to scoot in on the right side. And he's going to get the 2. We think anyway. That's what the announcement was, and it looked that way. And they do indeed, although I wasn't sure I saw a signal from the officials.
I agree with you, Steve. I didn't see much out there either in the way of any indication of the extra point was good. But then again, we haven't seen a lot of 2-point conversions throughout the season when we've had a young man out there kicking for us as we have all year long. When you've got Quinn Clark out there, we're seeing a lot of hands up real quick underneath the goalpost. So,
well, and the officials are conferring right now as well. But they're going to get ready for the kickoff here. It looks like it's 14 all. A very, very important play as Batchelder gets that all-important 2-point conversion, and the Dogs will kick off now.
So with 1 minute left, we've got basically starting off at 0-0 for the last 13 minutes. Who is going to be the best team in the next 13 minutes?
It's for Class A North supremacy and the right to go into the state final between either Bonnie Eagle or to face either Bonnie Eagle or the Scarborough Red Storm.
Right now, Bonnie Eagle's up 19-7. As we're being fed information from our statistical expert.
From our Bonnie Eagle affiliate.
Here we go. Hauser. And he is wrapped up by Dylan Bolduc.
Bolduc, Teron Moss, Nico Levitt, Zach Elowich are all on that top of that play.
So the Portland Bulldogs crowd has come to life here in front of us, and the team has as well.
Right, and part of their life might be just trying to stay warm, but we do have a great game. We're just under a minute remaining here in the quarter. This is a good sign for Portland, Steve, going into the fourth quarter. They'll have the wind at their back. As you look at the flag, it's right now Windham's got it at their back, but Portland will be aided for the fourth quarter.
So
well, there was some great coverage out there on the side. Desmond Leslie had to duck and run when he noticed the defensive lines crashing down, and his receivers were well covered there.
So it'll be 2nd and 8 from the 36. 25 seconds left in the third quarter. In the wide out on the left is Griffith Hebert, and on the right is Blake Hauser. Or Garrett Peoples on the right, actually, and they didn't get the play off. So, at the end of 3 quarters, the score is 14-14. What a game. So here we go, 2nd and 8 from the 36. And Leslie to throw, and there's a flag on the play as he hits Griffith Hebert for short yardage.
Also helping out of the tackle, number 70, Nick Giaquinto. Flag.
So the flag will bring the ball back against Windham. They're marching off the penalty as we speak. Looks like a holding penalty. So they will repeat 2nd down. It'll be 2nd and long. Illegal block to the back.
25-yard line. 79-19.
My goodness, 2nd and 19. From the 24-yard line. Leslie to throw, and Hoyt and Giaquinto and Levine combine on a sack.
So there you go, Steve. This is just what they needed. We're in the fourth quarter. Who's going to be the best team for the last 13 minutes we talked about at the end of the third quarter? It looks like Portland is really picking up the pace here. They're going to have a significant loss, and this will be 3rd down and about an acre, I think. So you got to watch out for Leslie still. He can get the ball out there. He can air it out. We've got to watch the coverage here in the back. You've got Stasium deep in the back in the middle. Isaiah Batchelor's back there as well. You've got Bolduc on the right side, and out on the left is Vinny Pasquale.
So this will be a passing down, and it isn't because Leslie will hold it, but not fooled at all is Koa Farnsworth and Nick Giaquinto.
Yeah, the makings of a Who song there, huh? You won't get fooled again.
Well, the Dogs right now, when it counts, doing everything right for the last few minutes. Back at midfield to field the punt is Vinny Pasquale, and it'll bounce, and he'll, I think, smartly get away from it as it's downed by Hebert at about the 41-yard line.
So the officiating crew's done a pretty decent job today. This is a really high-intensity game. We've gotten to this point, the Class A Northern Final. Windham gets here after a blocked field goal in the closing moments of their game, and Portland High School gets here after a significant victory over the Oxford Hills Vikings last week.
we're here, and just this is win or go home. So both sides know what happens at the end of tonight. Somebody's hopefully playing here next week, and somebody's going to be watching. Well, they will all be playing here.
All state final games go through Fitzpatrick Stadium. So the road to the state championship in classes A, B, and C take place at Fitzpatrick. Class D is played up in Orono. Or perhaps it's Class B in Orono.
Wow, that was a pretty significant impact that Bolduc took as he came through. You could hear the crowd almost make that get hit as he got hit with the ooh kind of sensation that we heard through the Portland faithful here.
That's a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6. Ball's on the 45.
He's got 66 yards today. Dylan Bolduc does, and this raw night here at Fitzpatrick.
Well, he's really legged it out, too. I mean, and he gets the pitch now. Comes up the middle, and it takes quite a few Eagles to finally bring him down. Finally, it's Grant Jacobson and Braxton Cassidy who do it. So, 1st and 10 Bulldogs. Ball is on the 49-yard line of Windham. There's a lot of grit here in this Portland team, John, when it counts.
Certainly is. It brings a new set of downs just on the right side of the field here.
And here's Bolduc. He gets the pitch. And a nice gain, nice yardage there. And, as Mike Hoffer had said, they've got to get some good pitches out to Dylan Bolduc, and it's working now. He's got his blockers in front of him, and they're doing what they've been doing all year.
Right, that Hoffer guy kind of knows his sports. I'm glad that he stops in every once in a while and chats it up with us.
Yeah, I know. And we're also fortunate to have Johnny Mailer, who's no slouch himself. Of course, Mike Hoffer is really a sports historian, if you will. He can rattle off any statistic. He's cares so much about local sports. And, of course, and so, does Lee Goldberg and Johnny Mailer. Dave Eade for Channel 13, Travis Lee for Channel 8. Tremendous sports people in Maine here.
Well, and you talk about, some of these guys that are local guys that have been around and got a bit of history. I'm impressed with Michael Hoffer every time we speak at him, and to him, I should say, with his history and how far back he goes and what he's had to do to pick up all the knowledge. I know he's a professional writer and a journalist and all of that, but we've said it before, Steve. He really has passion for high school athletics, and really anybody that gets him a story that's worthy, he gets into that forecaster, and it's really propelled some young athletes just to see their name in the paper or see their picture in print.
It's going to be 3rd and 3 after it was about a 2.5-yard gain, and there's movement. Let's see which way it goes. We have offsides on the part of Windham, so that is going to bring about a Portland first down.
Great hard count by Isaiah Batchelor, drawing the defensive front off sides. There, you could see that hard jump.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Dogs on the move. 8.5 minutes left as the clock ticks down in the 4th quarter. Batchelder back to throw. A little too far ahead of Dante Hamilton, who's really been worked into the offense here.
He sure has. I think we might have even given Franco Lindos a little bit of credit earlier in the season before we were made aware of the uniform change and that Dante Hamilton's wearing that number. So. He definitely has made his move, and we've talked with the coaching staff about the younger players and how these guys have moved around and what chemistry they have.
2nd and 10 from the 37. Oops, that's a fumble. And just falling on it is Batchelder.
Yep. We've talked about it a bunch, what he gives for his team. He looked at that and he understood what happened as soon as it came out of his hands, that it wasn't a nice toss out to Bolduc, and he was immediately there giving of himself. We've seen some professional quarterbacks walk away from that play where a fumble saves your season, and sometimes they just walk away, but not Isaiah Batchelor.
3rd and 15. Batchelder has some time. He's looking deep. A little too deep, though, as he was looking for Griffin Foley, and it falls out of the end zone on the right side. So Dogs will punt here, as it is 4th and 15.
Fourth and 15 on the 42. Blake Hauser, deep for Windham.
You know, he is roughed right there. He was run into. It's going to fall into the end zone. Gallant effort to keep it out of there, by the way, on the right side, but he was absolutely roughed up. And they're not going to call it?
So we're waiting on the official ruling out there. It looks as though that Isaiah was hit rather hard. They're marching it off.
It's roughing the kicker. And that makes it first down for the Dogs. And by the way, that was Dylan Bolduc with that tremendous effort downfield to try to keep the ball in and to pin Windham back to the 1. But the only thing that could be better than that would be Bulldogs ball. Oh. So that that you could see that the ball was well away when at the time he was run into, and it seemed like a good call. As you say, this is a very tight officiating crew here tonight. You know, in a big game like this, you always want to get it right, especially. I mean, you always do, but you really do in a game like this. Bolduc goes through, and he's going to gain a couple.
So you can hear the crowd kind of get fired up after the roughing the kicker call for against Windham. And this is, might be just the energy that they needed. Instead of punting the ball away with a little over 7 minutes left, they're still driving and sustaining here in an effort to put themselves up. They've done a great job in this quarter for the first 6 minutes of those last 13 that we talked about.
It's 2nd and 9 from the 28. And Batchelder is brought down, nothing doing. Great defensive effort there by many, including Garrett Peoples. Kyle Hauser gets the credit for the tackle. 3rd and 9. Portland brings out Hamilton and Foley. And what is a passing play, 3rd and 10 on the 28th, passing down here. He's back to pass. And good coverage.
He's strung out there. Foley's running his route downfield. You want to see the receivers at that point check to see what's going on.
with the quarterback, if the ball's not up in the air, maybe take a run back towards the quarterback, shortening up that space. He had a short gain. 4 yards on that play. We've got a 4th and 5. We'll see what Portland's going to do here, Steve.
Well, it looks like they'll keep it. I mean, it's a long field for Windham, and actually Portland's going to talk it over. So there's going to be a timeout here. 5:13 left in regulation. 14-14 is your score. This is Class A North Championship Football on WPPS TV3. So 4th and 5 for the Dogs from the 23. And Batchelder will go to Jake Nope, who'll get the first down and get the touchdown.
23-yard touchdown there, Steve, on a 4th and 5 play. A gutsy call by the Portland coaching staff, well executed by both Jacob Nope as well as Isaiah Batchelor. Batchelor leading his team there. They make that call. They make that call for that play, and boy, oh boy, was it executed well. They get the first down and more.
Well, what a tremendous athlete. As we had a chance to talk with him before the game, he said, we're not going to let our emotions get the best of us. We're just going to come out and play. We are ready. Jake Nope, folks, is ready tonight. And that is up and through. The Dogs take a 7-point lead with 5 minutes left in this the regulation of this contest. 21-14 Dogs. So here comes Quinn Clark now with a strong boot. The ball will roll down, but out of bounds, so it'll be at about the 20. It'll come out to the 35, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 35. We have a little bit of a fumble and a flag as well.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see what went on there. There was a lot of movement all over the place, and they've got a false start on Windham. But boy, it looked like there was some confusion on the Portland defensive backfield, and they looked to be taking advantage of some of that. And good for the Dogs that they didn't.
So there were actually 2 penalties on. One was an illegal formation, which was declined, and one was regardless, it'll be 2nd and 16. I guess they declined the penalty. That's what happened on a formation.
Woof.
And that's Blake Hauser tackled. So, John, as I say, as we said, I think the Dogs took the 6-yard sack before. It's 3rd and 16, and there's pressure and another sack for the Dogs. Ethan Hoyt was in on it, and Koa Farnsworth and Zach Elowich, with, I guess, the major credit going to Farnsworth, but a great all-round effort. 4th and 16. The Eagles will punt it. And again, touched, and then it'll be downed, I guess, at about the 46-yard line, where the Dogs will take over 1st and 10 with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in regulation.
So we've got 3:43 remaining here in this matchup, and we're getting word that The score at Bonnie Eagle is Bonnie Eagle 33, Scarborough 20 at this point in time. A 4-yard gain on that play, Steve.
Hauser and Peoples in on that tackle for Windham. It'll be 2nd and 6 from the 50. Bolduc straight up the middle, bumps into one of his players and then his co-players and gets knocked down. The tackle by Kyle Hauser.
We have a 3rd down and 6 here to go. 4 yards remaining. Good. So I think, Steve, we'd also be remiss if we didn't recognize our veterans today. I'm not sure that we've done that throughout this broadcast, being Veterans Day.
Indeed. We enjoy the freedoms we have because of the sacrifices made by the veterans of the, could say, the 4 or 5 services of our country.
Absolutely. Had many uncles and cousins, and my father-in-law was in the service. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We enjoy the freedoms we have every day because of what they've done. But Windham has a timeout here, so with 2:11, we'll take a break.
First and 10 from the 43. 2:11 left. This time, Batchelder will take the ball up the middle. He's that could have been a late hit there, but they chose not to call that as number 34 launched himself in the back of Dylan Bolduc after forward progress had stopped, but he gets a 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4. Ball is on the 38. Of course, Bolduc is going to grab it again, and you know, the point is that that now's the time to grind it out. We've got a minute 20 left. Dylan Bolduc has 100 yards. That's his 100th yard of the evening, and John has not come easy. He has grounded it out here tonight.
He's got 25 carries for those 100 yards, so at 4 yards a carry. We're not seeing the big runs and the big breaks out of Dylan that we've seen historically through the season. I mean, we've had a couple of games where we've had the luxury to watch him rip off 30, 40, 50-yard runs. I think back in South Portland, he ran off a 70-yard run before taking out of that game. But today he's worked hard. He's been a workhorse. We talked to him prior to the game and talked about what it meant for him this season. And with, as Coach Hartman calls him, Archie going out early in the season, Dylan really got a lot thrown on his plate.
Well, and the timeout is over here as it's 3rd and 2 from the 35. Coach Hartman comes off the field after having a conference with his offensive team. Here's Bolduc to the left. He's going to do it on his own. And he's going to run it in for a 35-yard touchdown. Dylan Bolduck, number 35 for 35.
The best team in the last 13 minutes, and that's the exclamation point on that for the Bulldogs here. Nice run by Dylan Bolduck just after we get done saying 25 rushes for 100 yards, and he's worked hard. We haven't seen him rip off that long run. Does he display that? And he makes us look like we don't know what we're talking about up here. Maybe he heard us and said, okay, you want one up there in the booth? Here you go. Here's 35. Stick that in your back pocket. We're going to the state championships.
And indeed, the Bulldogs will go to the state championship, folks. A minute and 13 left here. Quinn Clark out to kick it. It's through 28 to... Oh, excuse me, it's no good, but it's 27 to 14. It's a two-possession game with a minute 13 left. It would take a minor miracle for Windham to pull this one out.
Steve, we don't want to forget the fact that when we were in Windham with less than 8 minutes left, you had 42 points scored. Not that I want anything like that to happen today, but this isn't over until it's over with Windham. This is a never say die team across there. We're gonna watch for the next minute and 13 seconds and see what we got going here. You got the coaches in that side of that huddle right now saying, boys, it's not over.
They're saying it, but if you look at the Windham fans, they're saying something else as they're starting to fan out and leave. But get ready for the kickoff here.
And at the conclusion of this matchup, we'll also have the presentation of the Class A North winners and the runner-up in the Class A North. Should be a short presentation here after the game, which probably doesn't help given the fact that it's probably about 30 degrees down there for all these young athletes. The parents all want the pictures, but I bet you they want to get back on their buses or in their locker rooms and warm up again.
It'll be a long bus ride back to Windham tonight, but they really put in a gallant effort here tonight. And as you say, it's really not over until it's over. And but that being said, Portland has dominated, as you say, the last minutes of this game. Dylan Bolduck will hold the ball for Quinn Clark. It's come off the tee. Well, here we go. It'll stay. No, it falls.
I'm going to call Nico Levitt over to hold that ball. The ball that won't stay. I don't remember that when we were a kid. Maybe they had bigger tees or whatever. I don't ever remember that ball falling off.
Well, I mean, it's so windy out there tonight. It's just an incredible wind as Nico Levitt will hold the ball.
Nico's saying, please don't kick my hand. Please don't kick my hand. It's so darn cold out here.
Well, a nice kick, nice line drive, picked up at the 20. And as you say, it's not over till it's over, but oh my goodness gracious.
Teron Moss with a nice open field tackle.
Of Henderson, my goodness. A minute 6 left, and Windham deep in its own territory. And they have, I think, one timeout left. And Leslie is brought down by Ethan Hoyt and Koa Farnsworth, but Ethan Hoyt gets credit for that sack, and he has made a game of it here tonight. He's had a very fine game. Leslie back to pass, and it's may have been tipped. Nice show of sportsmanship as what you saw is Ben McDonald with a really strong hit on Portland player, and stood up, shook his hand. 3rd and 11 with 41.9 seconds left. Leslie back again. He looks long, and it is intercepted, and Ben Stasium just slides and holds it right there smartly. We do have a Windham player slow to get up, but again, another great show of sportsmanship. So the exclamation point is Ben Stasium, who intercepts the ball and wisely slides, as Portland will now only have to take a knee, 1 or 2, in order to win this game.
It was nice. We got a chat with Ben's dad prior to the game at our pregame meal, and it's nice to see good things happen to good kids. He's had a decent season. He earlier in the season, he was in and out of the lineup, and he's really put himself back into a great spot for the end of the season here. And we're watching time tick away. They won't have to take another knee. The clock will run out. We're seeing both squads coming to their sidelines, and the Portland Bulldogs will return to the state championship game again, be held here next week at Fitzpatrick Stadium. 3 of the 4 state championships, as you said, Steve, go through Fitzpatrick Stadium. We'll wait for the MPA to make their call and tell us when the games are. And we'll be back here for WPPS again next week for a second straight season, broadcasting the state championship game. I'll be excited to be here again with you and all of our staff this year.
Well, we are very fortunate indeed, John, to have really been through these years between, so many great teams, but of course the two that I've chosen to do, basketball and football, has been just terrific. Portland has really been lights out the last few years, and again tonight we're celebrating the football team, their Class A North victory, and there will be a ceremony and a presentation here in a moment.
Ben McDonald, number 60, along with Desmond Leslie,
So the Windham co-captains received the runner-up trophy from Athletic Director Rob O'Leary. And now for the 2016 Class A North champions, it's the Portland Bulldogs. And as John Coyne predicted, it was a very, very quick ceremony as it's freezing outside. And now the team will go over to its fans and will sing the school song.
Boy, Steve, I'm glad that we had that window closed. We are 2 smart fellas, along with this man, our cameraman, Dave Elowich, for keeping this closed.
We have the window open now, and it is chilly. And I give a lot of credit to these fans, even more so to the players. John and I will be back to wrap it up for you in a minute, folks. So the Bulldogs defeat the Windham Eagles 27-14 to go into the state game, John. Really, what a game.
We talked about it with a minute left in the third quarter. Who's going to be the best team? And the Bulldogs expressed themselves as the better team here in the last 13 minutes.
Well, and that's really what it came down to. The Bulldogs tonight, one of the notable things about the game is Isaiah Batchelder had just one pass in the first half, 6 for 10 in the second half, and overall had about 92 yards of total yards. He passed for a touchdown to Griffin Foley, a 13-yard touchdown, and Jake Nope had 40 yards total and a touchdown. And Dylan Bolduck, a Class A North Player of the Year, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. Desmond Leslie, on the hand, had 143 yards with a passing touchdown, and Hauser was held to just 21 yards and 215 total yards for them, and the Dogs had 245 total yards. So all in all, a tremendous effort as the Bulldogs head into the state final. And John and I will be there to bring it to you, along with David Elowich and Dave Levine. This is Steve Schwartz for WPPS TV3 Sports, saying so long from Fitzpatrick Stadium, where the Portland Bulldogs have defeated the Windham Eagles and are heading to the state final for the second year in a row. Good night.